Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Monster Drink Fan 605 here, back with another video. And I'm starting to think that I might be probably be posting more often now, I think. I just thought of the video that I actually wanted to do. I know my last video was talk about the movie 3 from Hell. That's going to be coming up pretty soon. But we're not going to be talking about that right now. Now we need to talk about a different topic at this very moment. And it's kind of quite one of the most disturbing stories that I always thought in mind. And as you can excuse me. As you can tell by in the thumbnail, it says something about me almost being kidnapped. I will say that this story had took place many years ago. I was like around the age of like 7 or 8 years old. I was about to go to the store at Dollar General. I used to live right close to a Dollar General store, which is no longer there. Supposedly, I think it got burnt down or something. But it was like a local Dollar General store that I went to go get stuff. I usually go and ask my mom for some money to go buy stuff at the Dollar General store. This was years ago. This was back when I was like 7 or 8, I think. So it was somewhere around those times. I know this story you might probably hear that might be quite disturbing. So if you don't want to be disturbed with this type of story, I would suggest leave the video now. Because, well, you already know what the title is, actually, but it is quite kind of disturbing. But there was a day where I went to the Dollar General. I was about to. Then my grandma wanted to go walk with me. So instead of me going on my own, my grandma went to go walk with me, and she told me that there was some. I think this is what I remember so far. There's some people in Du Bois that will try to snatch you if you're on your own and you're very young, and you can get snatched anywhere you are at. Thank God that never happened to me. Like there was a point where I was almost, because see, Grandma had told me, I did remember, had told me that if somebody asks me if, they say if they need to talk to me, she said, don't talk to them, just walk away or whatever. And I was like, okay. Well, I was really young, though. I didn't really understand the whole situation, what Grandma was really talking about. I was so young, and I was kind of, like, kind of questioning, in my head, or of, like, what she's talking about, like, but I did like the fact that she walked with me. It's nice to go out for a walk at least, but see, I usually walked on my own whenever I walked to the Dollar General store when I was very young. I was usually on my own. I was like 9 or 8, I think. See, my mom usually gives me money to walk to the Dollar General store to just go get something, like at least, like a bag of Skittles or something nice I want to get or whatever. But see, Grandma wanted to walk with me that one day when I wanted to go on my own, but I decided to let her walk with me because she wanted to. When she was like walking towards me when I was walking up to Dollar General, she seemed kind of paranoid and worried. She was really worried about me. And it's great to have a family that's, worried about you, They always worried about, like, what would happen to you if you were on your own. And, something like that could possibly happen if you got kidnapped or you got nabbed or whatever. It's kind of a scary situation, So my grandma had told me that I should walk with you because the reason why is because, well, one dude boys that might ask you if um hey, I need to talk to you or whatever, like don't answer their question or whatever. Just walk away. And so I think that was the first stop with Family Dollar that I went to go have a stop with when I went to Family Dollar. So now the second story, along with it, I decided to go down to Dollar General once again. Um, One day, well, this was probably maybe the same day. Grandma had warned me about this. I was very young and I didn't know better, but I went on my own the second time because my grandma had probably left before I did the second time. So I guess my mom was kind of unaware with that, though. But my grandma was kind of aware of it because, see, my mom never thought that I could possibly almost get kidnapped or could have got kidnapped. This was like years back, so yeah. When I got down at Family Dollar, I finally got the thing that I needed, or didn't find the thing I needed, and decided to walk out of the store. After I bought a few things, or didn't buy a few things, and couldn't find anything I was interested in, so I just left. So I left the store, and I decided to walk back to my place. And I was gonna walk home, maybe play some PS2 consoles or whatever or whatnot. Um, I was one of those typical, like normal kids, that like to, go to stores at least, or or maybe do something more productive. And my battery is low. I'm gonna try and make this quick. So yeah, it was a pretty scary situation for me because whenever I went down to my house, I went down to my house and there was a couple of guys walking down the street and they asked me, hey, listen, I need to talk to you. And I was like, after what my grandma said, I'm pretty sure that's how she explained the story about this, but when the two guys went up and told me, hey, I need to talk to you for a second, I was a bit shocked. I was a bit disturbed. And I decided not to talk to them. So I walked in really quick and just didn't talk to them. And this was, I walked into my house, though. They were actually really close to my house when that happened. So I walked into my house. I didn't say anything to them. I said completely nothing because I was young and scared. And so I walked in and I just didn't say anything. Nothing. Zero. So I was one of the lucky ones, I guess, And you never know. Those two guys could be, someone you can never trust. And it was a scary situation. I mean, you can tell in my eyes right now, I still remember that day, and that was years ago. And I'm pretty sure this would probably bring a lot of chills down your spine and bring you a lot of goosebumps that, it really shocks you that something like this actually did happen to me years back. Well, almost did, actually. Almost. My bad. Almost. I was just a lucky kid. I mean, I could never think about, well, I could have imagined, what could happen to me if I was kidnapped. You never know. I mean, the most scariest situations you would have ever been as a kid. And and the thing is, though, like me, I have mild autism. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about this recently in really older videos. And I get scared pretty easily. And as you can tell, like, sometimes I just have trust issues. However, you know, there were times where I've made mistakes and I was, you know, I was ashamed of the mistakes I made in the past. I will admit that. I was ashamed of most of the incidents that ever happened in my life, and I'm actually still kind of embarrassed of them to this day. But I will say that the most disturbing thing that I ever went through as a kid. But I can actually picture the two people that have actually asked me if, you know, they needed to talk to me or whatever. Whenever I didn't say anything, I just walked into my house and didn't say anything at all. I will say this. One of them kind of, I would say, like, one of them did kind of look about my age. Well, the age I am right now. Kind of about my age, like my age right now. Maybe like in their 20s or maybe 30s, maybe. One of them did. I only kind of remember one of them that said that to me, but there was a couple of them that were walking together or whatever, and I just didn't say anything because I was a young kid. You never, ever, ever want to talk to strangers when you're a kid. And that's what I did. I was very smart, and I was a very bright kid at that very moment. I made the right decision, and I just walked away. It's very scary. That's probably one of the most scariest situations to be in, is because right after what my grandma told me, and then these two guys come up to me and say, "Hey, I want to talk to you," and I just said, you know, completely nothing and just walked in. So yeah, that was probably maybe one of the most scariest moments, you know. I do really apologize if, you know, this story does really disturbs you, but like I said at the very beginning of the video, to everybody to leave, you know, because if it's, you know, it might be kind of disturbing. And I mean, it's a little disturbing, and it's very scary that this actually happened. And I hope you guys are not, you know, shocked that I had to go through all that. But I made the right move, and I decided to walk away. So I still remember that day. I mean, to this day, it's actually still scary. Because my grandma did tell me that about strangers in this town, in DuBois. But this was way before I lived in this house. I lived in a completely different house. I was living right near a Dollar General store. But yeah, I will say this. My phone is almost out of battery. If there's any younger kids that are out here watching this video, please, if you're going on your own, make sure you have permission with your parents or whatever. And if they say no and they want to walk with you, let them walk with you. And if you are on your own when you're walking to a store, please remember this. Anybody asks you to talk to them, do exactly what I just did and just walk away. Don't even talk to them. Don't even, you know, communicate with them, because you never know. And I will say this right now. I will give examples of what they could possibly be, but it's just too graphic in nature for younger kids on this, you know, on this app, YouTube. I will just say this. I'm not going to completely describe what they could possibly be because it might be too disturbing. But if you're a younger kid, I would say leave the video now, because what I'm about to talk about is for adult, you know, talk through. So for most of you adults, well, I would say go ahead and leave the stream, kids, or leave the video at this very moment, or skip through the video or whatever. Actually, I would say just leave the video at this very moment. because this is where I'm going to end the video. Alright, here we go. For most of you adults out there, here's what I have to say, and this is the reason why I told all the younger kids to leave this video, because it might be too graphic in nature a little bit. I will say this, the reason why I say this here, they could be sex traffickers, they could be child molesters or whatever, and that's the reason why I decided to walk off. Because, I mean, I never thought that it could be possibly be when I was a younger kid, but that could be a possibility. They could be child molesters or sex traffickers, you never know. Or they could be possibly, you know, a couple of people holding somebody for ransom. You never know. It's a pretty scary feeling. Well, anyways, guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed the story, and I'm sorry that you guys are very disturbed by this if you are. But I'm going to charge my phone here. The video might end here soon. Sorry about that. I'm plugging my charger in. So, yeah. What you guys just heard is actually a true event that just happened. And I do apologize if this really disturbs you the most. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about these stories. I don't know. I do apologize if I shouldn't be talking about stuff like this because it could possibly be private. But I wanted to get this out of my... You know, I just wanted to get this off my chest because that's what actually almost happened, actually. Well, sorry if I said if it actually happened. Well, but... What I'm saying is, like, it almost happened. It almost did. It almost happened. But thank God it didn't happen. Because if it happened, possibility I would probably never exist. You know, I could be dead. I could be gone for a very long time. You never know. But that's one of the most scariest events that actually happened when I was a kid. Almost getting kidnapped. Well, anyways, guys, I love you guys to death, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I do hope that this doesn't scar you for life with what I just talked about, but it actually almost did happen. But it was true. The story was actually true, what I talked about. Well, anyways, guys, I love you guys to death. And don't forget to stay tuned, monsters.